Hi, it's Peter here from Romford Film Festival, and I'm with Martin Delaney.
Hello.
Martin is the co-producer and lead actor of a fantastic short film, Officer Down.
Hello.
Martin,
Yes.
would you like to just say us what Officer Down is about?
So Officer Down is about a young officer, Alex Trent. I say young, I mean that's me being really kind of
Yep.
hopeful. Alex Trent, who's he's sort of riot police, and he goes out on a very tense day to apprehend a suspected terrorist, and gets caught very quickly behind enemy lines, and it's his process of dealing with that and trying to get out of that situation. So it's sort of high octane action.
Very much so. Yeah.
Short, really, by the brilliant Simon Pearce. So yeah, it was a lot of fun and a lot of bruises.
I bet. We're going to get to the action in shortly. So this film was nominated 6 times in this festival. I'm just going to read it down, I don't want to forget any. Best short,
Okay.
best director, best actor, best cinematography, and 2 supporting
Yeah.
best supporting actor.
Joe and Ben,
noms.
yeah.
That's right. When did you come on board the project?
Yeah, good question. So Simon and I, the director, worked together a bunch of times before,
Okay.
and I did a feature that he did, Judas Ghost, which is a Simon R. Green novel, sort of fantasy horror piece a few years back, and we've worked together a couple of times, and we talked about this. See, he's a great director and has a real passion for the action genre of film.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up on film sets. His father was a sort of camera operator, so I think it was about time that he was thinking of putting all his skill over the years into the world that he wants to be directing in. And Officer Down felt like we wanted to sort of create something that had a sort of deeper sort of philosophical kind of sort of spirit behind it, really, but wrapped up in that entertaining sort of action genre. So yeah, we talked about an idea, and then Simon went away and got Tommy on board, who's a great writer.
Okay, yep.
And here we are. So we sort of talked about working together again in this capacity for a while. So I'm really pleased that it worked out and we got it done. And and loving the festival run. So thank you very much for having us here.
You're welcome. So let's go on to the action, because I'm desperate to talk about it. The fight scenes in this are insane.
It's pretty
And
good. Yeah.
not only are they insane, they are so realistic.
Yeah.
When we saw this film, me and the other judges, we all said like the choreography and the realism is so good. I would never have expected it to see it in a short film.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean it was absolutely superb.
Thank you very much.
Production and everything. And how have you got much history yourself and experience in that kind of?
Yeah, weirdly. So like my career doesn't really sort of show any of that stuff really. Like I've sort of done a lot of comedy over the years and a fair bit of drama as well. But yeah, I'm quite into that stuff. Like I grew up doing martial arts.
Okay.
I did Shotokan karate for years and then mixed martial arts.
Okay.
So I felt like it was natural to go and tackle something like that, but it just never felt right and it never came up. And over the years I've done a few sort of horsey, swordy projects, but not one like this. So, but really that work is down to, it was absolutely Simon's, drive behind the piece. He really wanted that feel that you've mentioned. And Neil Chapelhouse is an incredible action designer. The 3 of us worked really hard in trying to find that balance, because Alex Trent isn't the sort of, he's not a hero, he's this kind of underdog, and the idea is that he's just a riot policeman without kind of his tools and his backup. So in that scenario, we wanted it to feel like it's real life or death stuff. So the fight's kind of scrappy and ugly and gnarly, as you've seen, and
very crunchy. That was the word I had. Very crunchy.
Yeah, and we got some real bruises to show for it. It was worth it, But Neil did a great job with Simon coming up with the main points around that and the story beats around that fight too. But yeah, so yeah, I'm glad you noticed it.
Very crunchy. Yeah. Did you do a lot of rehearsing of the fight scenes?
Yeah, a fair bit. I have to apologise to my wife actually for taking off some weekends and getting that stuff done. But we, doing a short film like that, which is essentially just under 20 minutes, so it's a longer short film, but with a fair bit of action involved. There's one major fight sequence, as you'll know, when Alex is trying to sort of get out. Yeah. And that took some time of building that and finding where are moments where he really feels like he's done in and he's not going to really sort of maybe get out of this situation, because that jeopardy has to be there for real. You have to feel it. And so yeah, there's quite a few weekends of going and trying to discover what that would be and how that would look. And as a result, I think quite rightly, you know, Alex takes a bit of a beating, but somehow works out how to sort of get out of it. And it's a real sort of, it's really interesting to see the idea, you know, exploring this idea of what people can do when they're really up against it, and when it matters like that. And it explores themes of bigotry and kind of, you know, judgment,
assumptions and
well.
judgment. Yeah.
Pretty effectively, I think.
So let's talk about your co-stars.
Yeah.
So Joseph and
Ben.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Yeah.
How was it to work for them?
Fantastic. I mean, I've always really admired those guys and their work. Joe and I have had the fortune to work together years ago. Okay. Quite a long time ago now. But they're both just so brilliant, and I've been following Ben's work for a while, and I think they're both fantastic, really fine performers. So when they both said they would do it, it was a real joy for everyone. I think everyone felt really hopeful about what we could do and where it could go, and they're a dream to work with. I mean, a lot of the nuance that you find in the script, Tommy delivered a great script with Simon, but a lot of the nuance in the character of Elijah, Ben's character, really came from changes that Ben wanted to make, and notes that Ben had on the script and saying, look, I think we need to keep this a bit more ambiguous, because this is, you know, we could go down that very narrow kind of idea about a terrorist cell group. Yeah. But I think what he's created is something so three-dimensional and so real that the idea of what goodness is completely... Yeah, there's grey areas. Yeah. It's not just black and white. And that really is down to, you know, his input, you know. So both fantastic performers, and what an honour to be able to play with them, yeah. Did you watch any films in preparation or any fight scenes from other films? Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I've always been a real fan of action films as well, like Simon, and but as a youngster, I watched a lot of Jackie Chan, in early Hong Kong movies. So for me, there was definitely an element of that. If you look at, it's not as polished as any of that, but the idea of, you know, that character getting the shit kicked out of him and looking like, is he really going to... And he does. come out of that scenario. Yeah. And that was a real choice for us. And that really, that kind of reminds me of the films that I grew up watching and the style that I like. But yeah, so that was my prep, was all those years watching those films. Yeah, those worked out well. Yeah, the fight scenes are insane. And obviously there's elements of The Raid, like you can see, it's a British kind of version of that in a sense. If I could be so bold as to say something. I would say it's definitely up there. I mean, the production and the fighting is so good. Well, Phil Mayhew, the DP, is a DP for Bond on Bond films. Okay. So we were. Yep. I mean, it's like we were so lucky in all aspects of the film, and including Roger Pierce, the A cameraman, who's worked with Phil on Bond films before. So, you know, to have the DP of Casino Royale, like and GoldenEye, it's a different game. So, we were lucky, definitely. So, future projects for you, Martin? Yeah, I mean, look, it's a pandemic year. Like everyone, I've been kind of, you know, just auditioning and starting to get back into the norm of things and the flow of things. It's been a weird old time. I did a pilot for a show in one of the lockdowns and still auditioning and keeping at it really, and trying to, like all of us, keep our head above water and still smile about it, you know. But it's been a hell of a journey. We'll see what happens in the future. Thanks so much for submitting the film and for joining me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.